Assalamualaikum and hi to everyone. We are from Group 4. So this week we will present about vision and the direction of change in Chapter 6. I am the first presenter, Muhammad Salim bin Abdul Latif, with number IY102859, and my group member is Adibah Fahana binti Zainuddin, Khairunisa binti Ahmad Kamudin, Muhammad Syafiq bin Zukri, and last one is Nur Syairah binti Azman. So in content in chapter 6 include vision, image of managing change, characteristic, content of meaningful vision, how context affect vision, processes by which vision emerges, failure of vision, and linking vision in change. So let's start with the first topic, that is the vision. So firstly, we must know that vision is related to goal and refer to the desired future state of the organization. It is an inspiration which can help mobilize the energy and the passion of the organizational member. So the vision statement therefore should answer the questions as what do we want to achieve. So you can see there is 4 points. First is having a vision is often linked to strategy and competitive advantage, and why successful organizational change is achieved. So kat sini bermaksud visi yang jelas, a clear vision enables board to determine how well the organizational member are performing and to identify gap in current practice. Vision also can identify with the organization and inspire the motivation to achieve personal and corporate objective. Organization preparing for transformational change often undertake new listening exercise to guide them into the future. So kat sini bermaksud dengan visi ini akan mengenal pasti organisasi dan memberi motivasi bagi mencapai objektif pribadi dan corporate objektif tersebut. So organisasi yang bersedia untuk melakukan perubahan transformasi juga akan melakukan latihan menyemak semula untuk membimbing mereka ke masa hadapan. So untuk poin kedua ialah lack of vision is frequently associated with organisation decline and failure. So kat sini bermaksud dengan kurangnya visi akan menyebabkan kegagalan dan kemerosotan bagi sesebuah organisasi. Unless company have the clear vision about how they are going to be distinctly different and unique in their satisfying their customer, then they are likely to be the corporate failure statistic of tomorrow. So the third point is the concept of vision is controversial because of the synergies that can exist around blend or two branches vision statement. So kat sini bermaksud kita tahu yang konsep vision ini ialah powerful. However, it remain controversial dan mengundang kepada sinis apabila setiap organisasi express a blend of vision that include excellent corporate responsibility, pekerja yang diberi kuasa dan delighted customer. Namun, there is a disagreement on how to define and measure the terms. As with the change management in general, there is a lot of advice how to develop a vision, which later on no consensus on effective approach. So, seseorang berpendapat bahawa that preoccupation with the vision is meant to be that term that has been overused, terlalu berlebihan atau trivialized, yang akan mengundang kepada risiko kehilangan nilai terhadap sesebuah visi tersebut. So the last point is the vision are useful when they are midway an amazing picture of the future with the sufficient details to be meaningful to the target of the vision. So kat sini bermaksud visi ini akan berguna apabila mereka menggambarkan gambaran masa depan yang menarik, kunci yang cukup untuk memberi makna kepada sasaran bisnes tersebut. So kita tahu yang visi ini dia selalu spesifik kerana memfokuskan kepada short term target, goals, and encouraging only incremental improve is also limited, mendorong kepada peningkatan tambah nilai juga agak terhad. Oleh itu, dengan visi ini akan membantu useful when they are midway between these two aspects, setting up engaging picture of the future with sufficient meaningful detail to which those involved can relate. So secara keseluruhannya, To be effective, vision should be clear, appealing, vivid, ambitious, and attainable, provide a sense of direction and guiding decision-making, but also flexible enough to accommodate initiative and change. So that's all for me. I'll continue for the next slide.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Adibah Farhana binti Zainuddin, number matric I81028488. Today I would like to explain about images of managing change. There are a few types of images, so I will explain one by one. So firstly, director. Vision is something that is essential to producing successful organization change. It should be articulated early on, and it is up to leaders to do this. It means that director need to have a clear vision to drive change linked to strategy and goals. Maksudnya, mesti tahulah masa mana untuk membuat analisa dan proses penanda aras untuk mencapai visi. Secondly, navigator. Vision is important but not necessarily able to be achieved because of competing vision that exists among various organizational parties and stakeholders. Means vision is a product of debate. Bagaimana manager nak berhadapan dengan ahli kumpulan yang tidak bersetuju? Thirdly, caretaker. Caretaker is a vision is in many ways immaterial to the way change will proceed. Change is really the outcome of visionary action. Visionary or charismatic leaders have limited impact when vision is not related to the event driven by those external forces. External forces mean politics, economic, social, and technology will influence the vision. Fourth, coach. Vision is something that is important that and is more likely to emerge through the facilitation skill of the change leader interacting with his or his followers, shaping their agendas and desired future. Means vision emerges through consultation and co-creation. Interpreter. Vision is the ability to articulate the inner voice of the organization that wishes live, be it core ideology or values, and the underpins the identity of the organization. Vision are developed intuitively through imagery and imagination using frame, scripting, and stitching technique. And last but not least, nurture. Nurture is a vision is emerged from the clash of chaotic and unpredictable change forces. Vision are likely to be temporary and always in the process of being rewritten. Visionary change leader cannot predict accurately the outcome of systematic force.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Nushaira binti Azman and my matric number is I181028847. And today I would like to present about the characteristic of effective visions. Okay, first, an effective vision should have a cognitive component which is focusing on achieving outcomes, and effective component which is helping to motivate people and increase commitment to the change. Okay, next is there are 4 generic characteristics of vision, which is first is possibility. Possibility is point to innovative possibility for dramatic improvements, and second is desirability, which is based on shared values and norms about the way things should be done. And third is actionability, which is indicates the roles and contributions of those who will make the vision a reality. And the last one, articulation, which is it communicates the future clearly through powerful imaginary. So what is vision? Vision is a statement of purpose determined by management based on the organization, core values and beliefs that define the organization, identify and combines an ideal manifestation of its direction together with a tangible prescription for realizing its goal. So next one is the characteristic of effective visions. There are 6 effective visions. The first one is imaginable. Imaginable is can convey a picture of the future. Then the second one is desirable. Desirable can appeal to the stakeholder interest. And third one is feasible. Feasible can embodies realistic and attainable goals. And the next one is focus. Focus, they can guide decision making. And the next one is flexible, which is enable initiative and respond to changing environment. And the last one is communicable. Communicable can be explained in 5 minutes.
Content of meaningful vision. So first of all, we must know that there is other term of vision such as vision statement, goals, and organizational value. Vision usually point a picture of the future and inspirational, while mission statements are more purposive and instrumental in outlining what needs to be done. So kat sini kalau kita lihat, dia ada mission, vision and goal. Mission is concerned what an organization is and does. Vision is describe a future scenario, and goal may identify desired results such as improved moral, lower cost, or bigger market share. So let's move into the vision and market strategy. Based on Michael Hay and Peter Williamson, they argue that to create competitive advantage on the organization, and vision strategy must be conventional, but remain the quantitative and also must be distinct from those two other company. Mereka mengulas berpendapat bahawa untuk mewujudkan kelebihan daya saing, misi dan strategi organisasi mestilah tidak konvensional, bahkan mungkin berlawanan dengan institusi dan juga harus berbeza dengan syarikat yang lain. So, mereka juga note that vision have external and internal dimension. So, untuk external dimension ini, it is concerned a share of view of the outside world, how market work, what drive customer, competitor, industry dynamic, macroeconomic trend and impact of geopolitical event. So kat sini bermaksud external ini merangkumi kepada keseluruhan di luaran, bagaimana pasaran berfungsi, apa yang mendorong pelanggan, pesaing, industri dan juga trend macroeconomic dan kemudian juga geopolitical. Bagi internal, develop, pointing to the capabilities that need to be required to compete, and also to what the organization seeks to become. Michael Hay and Peter Williamson also argue that having a well-specified external vision helps to identify how the company will grow and compete. Mereka menjelaskan bahawa mempunyai visi luaran yang ditentukan dengan baik akan membantu mengenal pasti bagaimana syarikat akan berkembang dan berdaya saing. Hanya dengan itu, visi dalaman dapat dikembangkan dan menunjukkan kemampuan yang perlu diperolehi untuk bersaing dan juga kepada apa yang ingin menjadi kepada organisasi tersebut.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to all of you and to madams. So my name is Muhammad Syafiq bin Zukri and my matrix number is I181028446. So today I'm going to present to you how the context will affect visions. So the nut and backoff has access for organizational context in terms of their abilities to produce visionary strategic change. So the 4 organization is rigid organizations and bold organizations, overmanaged organization, and the last one is liberated organizations. So let's go for the first one. Rigid organizations have limited resources and lack of the acceptance in terms of the needs for change, because such of organizations tend to be hierarchical and inflexible, like for example the two aircraft company, the Eastern and Pan Am, before their collapse. And the second one is both organizations, so they also have limited resources, but the acceptance of the need for change is very high, and they tend to be more organic and less rule bound. Their visionary leadership is more likely to emerge in this context, although this entails freeing up resources and ensuring that key stakeholders are carefully cultivated in the process of developing the visions. And the third one is overmanaged organizations. Overmanaged organizations have high resources but little acceptance of the need for change, and they tend to be limited in their ability to escape the need for a new visions, because they have stable environments that dominated by past practices and have been seen to be work well and very relevant to them. And the last one is liberated organizations. They have contexts in which visionary processes are likely most successful. For example, the Hewlett Packard and Intel that have been regarded as high acceptance of the need for change and high availability of resources that are allocated to the strategic change process. And the next one is vision will take in organizations depending on whether there is a contextual trigger that alert people to the need for a new visions, and the national and cultural context in which the organization is embedded is also important. That's all for me for the how context will affect visions. So next presenter please.
So in this slide, I will explain about approaches to creating vision include crafting the vision, questions that help to develop a vision, and connecting the vision to the organization in a voice. So we are going to looking what is crafting the vision. This can be either leader dominated, palm framing, or facilitated. First, I will explain about leader-dominated approach. The CEO provides the strategic vision for the organization. This is similar to the tell and sell approach. What is a tell and sell approach? So here, tell is mean that chief executive created the vision and give it to the staff, while sell is mean that chief executive has a vision that he or she wants staff to accept. Maksudnya macam pelaksanaan ni tak kekal kepada organisasi dan keputusan yang mempengaruhi mereka. Maksudnya macam keputusan yang dibuat oleh manager. Secondly, facilitation approach, similar to the co-create approach. Co-create approach is mean that shared vision is created by chief executive and staff. This is because they want to produce better vision and more successful organization change, because those who have contributed will be more committed to making the vision work. Third, palm framing approach. The CEO provides visionary ideas and gets selected individuals and groups to further develop these ideas within some broad parameters. The adapting and shaping processes is similar to test and consult approach. Test chief executives seek feedbacks on ideas about a vision, and consults is a chief executive seeks that creative input of staff within set parameters. Okay, for this slide, we will focus about the second step, which is a question that help to develop a vision. So, firstly, intuitive approach. Holt and Kelly 1988 identified 3 different approaches and set of questions through which vision may develop. Okay. Manager minta mereka senaraikan 10 perkara yang mereka nak capai secara peribadi dan secara profesional, dan utamakan 2 atau 3 yang teratas. Yang kedua, fokus keadaan semasa sebagai kaedah untuk mengenal pasti ketengangan antara pengalaman hidup sekarang dan imej yang mereka mahukan. Yang ketiga, mereka akan menyediakan sokongan untuk mengenal pasti dan melaksanakan tindakan struktur rancangan untuk capai visi. Secondly, analytical approach. Analytical approach see vision as defined in relation to organization or departmental mission and rules. Vision is thus related to the purpose and focus on this question, such as who is served by the organization, what does the organization do, where does the organization place most of its effort, why does the organization focus on particular work and goals, how does the organization operationalize this effort. Antara soalan ini ditanya kerana organisasi itu sendiri nak tahu situasi semasa dalam syarikat tu untuk bimbing departmen dan organisasi tu untuk capai visi yang akan datang. Benchmarking approach bases the vision on the action and standard of the organization tougher competitors. Benchmarking approach ni lebih fokus kepada luar seperti competitors, macam mana competitors tu boleh buat lebih baik apa yang mereka buat. Jadi diorang lebih fokus kepada luar. The third process is connecting the vision to the organization in a voice. This connects the vision to the underlying values and beliefs that they are held within the organization. Robert Quinn made an interesting contribution to the process of identifying change vision. He points out that in many organizations, people want to know what the vision is and look at the chief executive to provide it. Contohnya Mahatma Gandhi yang tidak menggunakan kekerasan dalam memperjuangkan politik di India. Demonstrasi yang dibuat pun secara damai. Jadi ni antara contoh connecting yang menggunakan inner voice.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Khairunisa binti Ahmad Kamudin, and my metric number is I18102852. I will explain about failure of visions, failure to adapt, presence of competing visions, linking visions to change, the 3 debates, and a literature review about image of change management, vision and the direction of change, a study at Fire and Rescue Department of Malaysia. First, let's look into failure of visions. Vision can fail for a number of reasons. It can be happen when the vision is too specific, And when the leader is to look into something carefully and want the matter work in the current situations, and for that reason, the leader fails to appreciate the inability for change and the different uncertainties that often occur with the results made. Second, we have too complex atau rumit, contain various elements that are problematic and difficult to understand to the organization and employees. Next, too vague atau sama-sama, causing the organization fail to act as a landmark towards which change actions are directed. Inadequate, tidak mencukupi, only partially addresses the presenting problem. And now take a look at irrelevant atau tidak berkaitan dengan organisasi, where there is no clear picture and not firmly attached to the business. Seterusnya, blurred, kabur, membawa maksud. There is no clear picture of the organization or business for the future. Unrealistic, tidak realistic, vision are not perceived as not achievable. Visi yang dianggap tidak dapat mencapai oleh organisasi. Last but not least, a rear view mirror, where an organization pictures the past and extrapolate it into the future. Extrapolated or ekstrapolasi ini membawa maksud proses menggunakan logik atau fakta bagi menganggarkan kemungkinan berlakunya sesuatu pada masa depan dan memberitahu bahawa jika organisasi melakukan perubahan, mungkin akan terjadinya sesuatu di masa hadapan yang sukar diramal dan menyebabkan visi sesebuah syarikat atau organisasi gagal untuk dicapai. Okay, now let's see the failure to adapt. It's an illustrated story investigated by Lord Harris and Emmanuel Ogbonna 1999 into two retail companies and the impact of the founder visions on strategic change. In both cases, this vision was set more than 100 years ago by the company's founder, and there is no evidence of increased commitment to that vision by subsequent management. In this one company, the vision is paternalistic, which is commitment to staff, and focuses on prudent growth. This result is a strong focus on sales and profits at each new store location. These features are still present in the current management of the company. The vision itself is seen to be flexible and responsive to the prevailing environmental conditions facing the company. The researchers labeled the founder's visions in this regard as a strategic dividend for further management. And then, for the next company, the vision created was to have a store in every city company in particular region. The second aspect of the vision is related to company control over the company. And the researchers argue that this original vision continues to motivate superiors to stay on top. And with the close nature of vision caused the management team to decide to change the environmental conditions facing the sector. Among the changes that have been made is to move large retail stores into the region, focus those on stores on quality and service, and result in the company almost facing not yet bankrupt but financially downturn. So here we can see a comparison between the both company. The first company that emphasizes commitment to employees, and the next company that emphasizes family control in the company. In relation to subsequent strategic change actions taken by management in these two companies, the authors argue that whether the original visions of founder result in a legacy or a hangover is clearly dependent on the original flexibility of the strategy and the later environmental appropriateness. iaitu bergantung pada flexibility asal strategi dan kelayakan persekitaran di kemudian hari. Next is presence of competing visions atau visi yang bersaing. In the mid-1980s, the visions of Nike Sportswear Company was to make athletic footwear. However, the company found that a different market segment was buying their shoes are not athletes, but people who were wearing Nike trainers instead of casual shoes. Like macam kita boleh tengok nowadays, ramai je yang pakai kasut Nike walaupun bukan seorang atlet. Nike responded by introducing its own brand of casual shoes. This strategy failed because Nike had not understood that customers were buying expensive, over-engineered sneakers because they appealed to their image. In other words, the company's vision was out of step with its customers' vision of Nike. Furthermore, the merger between Deutsche Bank and Dresdner Bank. In this merger, there was a failure of management to persuade Dutch investment bankers of visions for how the newly merged company would compete. Many key employees left, and the threat of mass walkout forced Dutch to abandon the deal after considerable damage to the share price of both companies. So here we can see the vision between two organizations competing with their own customer, where they fail to recognize what customers want from the organization. We go on to the next topic, which is linking visions to change. There are three debates in this topic, which are debate 1, vision driving change or emerging during change. Debate 2, vision help change or hinder change. And debate 3, vision and attribute of heroic leaders or heroic organizations. In this section, we explore three debates concerning the links between vision and organizational change. First, we ask if vision is a driver of change or if vision emerged through the change process. Second, we ask whether vision helps or hinders change. Third, we assess whether vision is better attributed to heroic, charismatic leaders or is better understood as an organizational attribute. Okay, first, take a look on debate 1. Does vision drive change or emerge during change? We know that vision is the key of a company, and without visions, the missions couldn't be done. Cantor et al. 1992, establishing a vision is the first step toward change, and without visions, changes may seem arbitrary and unnecessary. For Pendlebury et al. 1998, vision determines the scope, depth, and time frame of change and the areas that will be affected. Having a vision at the start of change is needed for both transformational change. Then, vision emerges during change. Although it is important, it may be not possible to articulate a clear vision at an early stage. During transformational and discontinuous change, Robert Shaw 1995 argues that organization structures and management process may require fundamental change. It is also not possible to develop a vision until after the process has begun to unfold, because the relevant information may not be available in the current configuration. Current configuration is likely to customer expectation. Moreover, many visions were produced over the period of large tenure, and a clear vision did not emerge until most of the transformational changes had been implemented. Okay, now, does vision help change or hinder change? Lipton 1996 identifies 5 tangible benefits that skillful visions can bring to an organization. First, enhance performance, where the studies by James Collins and Jerry Porras 1991, 1996, and 2005 found that companies labeled as visionary were likely over time. As visionary were likely over time to deliver a greater dividend to shareholders compared to others. Second, facilitate change. Visions provide roadmaps that assist the transition process. Third, enable sound strategic planning. Plans that have embedded within them imaginary of the future are more likely to inspire people to actions. Next is recruit talent. This applies particularly to the Generation X who want to maximize their income while feeling that they are engaging in challenges greater than simply making a profit. Last but not least, focus on decision making. Vision helps to develop the distinctive competencies that characterize an organization. A vision also can impede atau menghalang the process of organizational change when visionary or charismatic leaders use emotional appeal as the basis for engagement and neglect the operational details need to make change work. Furthermore, the wrong visions drive the change. When leaders exaggerate perceptions of crisis and when the visions fails to deliver its promise, and followers become disillusioned and lose confidence in both the leader and the organization. Moreover, vision can further hinder change where, once developed, senior management becomes so committed to it that they are unwilling to re-evaluate and test its ongoing utility and relevance. Okay, now let's take a look on the last debate. Is vision a attribute of heroic leaders or of heroic organizations? Some commentators argue that successful organization change depends on effective leaders. As for David Nadler and Robert Shaw, 1995, page P219, heroic leaders energize and support their followers and provide them with the visions that provides a vehicle for people to develop commitment, a common goal around which people can rally, and a way for people to feel successful. As we have already noted, the vision has to be clear, compelling, challenging, and credible, but it must also be reflected in the expressions and actions of the leader who is articulating it. Next, vision is an attribute of heroic organization. Collins and Porras 2005 argue that visionary leaders are not necessary in order to create visionary companies, claiming that the role of charisma in setting visions has been exaggerated. A charismatic leader may even be an impediment to the creation of visionary organization. A sustained organizational effectiveness depends on embedded visions, values, and ideologies rather than on pronouncement from one senior figure. Okay, now is a literature review about a journal entitled as Images of Change Management, Vision and the Direction of Change. A study at Fire Rescue and Department of Malaysia. The journal made by University Sultan Azlan Shah Master Program in Management students. Okay, in this journal, it tells us that the change management about the Fire and Rescue Department of Malaysia starting their services previous in 1883. After the World War II in 1946, the Malayan Union Fire Services (MUS) was formed with Flight Lieutenant W.J. Gurumandi being appointed as the Director of Malayan Union Fire Services based in Kuala Lumpur. Through the Federation of Malayas Agreement, the Fire and Rescue Services was handed over the state government, and the services was then integrated as a federal level department on 1st January 1976, reporting to the Ministry of Housing and Local Government. On 15 May 1981, the department was renamed as the Malaysian Fire Services Department. On 8 January 1997, the Cabinet has agreed to change the logo or insignia, flag and name of the Malaysian Fire Services Department to be known as Malaysian Fire and Rescue Department, which are officially announced and launched in a ceremony held in Genting Highlands Fire and Rescue Stations, Pahang on 21st February 1997 by the Honourable Malaysian Prime Minister of that time, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, the 4th Malaysian Prime Minister. And continue to the objective of the Fire and Rescue Department Malaysia is to provide effective and efficient fire prevention and firefighting services, enforcement of law related to fire safety and firefighting, as well as humanitarian services. To improve on quality, the department is determined to excel through innovation and the MS ISO 9001-2000 quality certification. To achieve this objective, the department implements its function as stipulated under Section 5(1) and (2), the Fire Services Act 1988, Act 341, among which are as follows: extinguish, fighting, preventing, and controlling fires, protect life and property in case of fire, determining the fire exits, maintenance and regulations, carry out an investigation into the cause, origin, and circumstances of the fire, perform humanitarian services including protection of life and property during the occurrence of many disasters. And then, Fire and Rescue Department Malaysia can be other than his duty under Fire and Rescue Department Malaysia can be other than his duty under subsection (1) perform any other task entrusted to it by law or otherwise held by the minister to implement. In terms of quality objective, the department are determined to excel through innovation and the quality of MS ISO 9001-2000. Client chartered to plan and provide professional fire and rescue services to save lives, property, and the environment, and increase the level of fire safety and public awareness. And also, Fire and Rescue Department Malaysia have their own motto, which is Fire and Rescue Department of Malaysia is ready to rescue, fast and friendly. And as at February 2013, they have 13,446 personnel in the department. Thank you, that's all from me.
Come back to me for the conclusions. So the conclusion that can be made here in this chapter is to explain about the arguments and against the concept of visions and how approaches to this issue depends on the image held of managing organizational change, and furthermore identify The characteristic of effective visions, the evidence and the experience. So the experience suggests that to be effective vision should be clear, appealing, vivid, and ambitious and attainable, providing a sense of directions and guiding decisions makings, but also flexible enough to accommodate initiative and change. And next, assess how the context in which a vision is developed affects its meanings. For the purpose of this discussion, context include the organization culture as well as the external environment. We identify 4 stereotypical organizations such as rigid, bold, overmanaged, and liberated. We moreover apply different methods and processes for developing visions. There are many approaches to developing visions, ranging on the familiar continuum from tell. The chief executive determines the visions to co-creates. The co-creates meaning is everyone participate in the developments. In the same context, it tells us why some vision fail due to change of an organization. Last but not least, it's also explained that the arguments concerning the relationship of visions to organizational change and the change manager must be aware of these debates and tensions and take these considerations into account before embarking on a vision development process at a particular time in specific context. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.